The media is calling this a really tight race. A 4-point lead is a lead that I would much rather have in a race like this.
They are coming after me with everything they got. And so I want to encourage your viewers this morning. I need your help. Please go to tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org.
Well, listen, we're ready to move on from Ted Cruz. And I know this. We believe in freedom. And what Ted Cruz has done in terms of taking away a woman's right to choose, in terms of attacking your right to retire with dignity, in terms of making it harder for folks to chase their version of the American dream, is not our Texas.
It's no secret that Fled Cruz is as desperate and cowardly a sleazebag as they come.
It's not easy to tick me off. I don't get angry often. But you mess with my wife, you mess with my kids, that'll do it every time. Donald, you're a sniveling coward, and leave Heidi the hell alone. We've seen in the last 2 months unprecedented allegations of voter fraud.
On the front lines of the president's failing battle to overturn the election, Ted Cruz is blasting away at the courts, the Democrats, anyone who says Trump lost fair and square.
I am angry, and I think the American people are angry. I don't get angry often.
She said, I never expect to hear that from you again. She said he's a pussy. That's terrible. Terrible.
He's a pathetic, lying yellow belly who'd rather flee to Cancun than actually help his state through one of the worst storms in its history.
Senator Ted Cruz, he is now facing a whole lot of questions after he was spotted on a plane traveling to Cancun, Mexico, in the midst of this unfolding crisis in his home state of Texas.
Like joking that he went to Cancun when the state was actually in need.
I gotta say, Orlando is awesome. It's not as nice as Cancun, but it's nice.
What do you make of that?
Well, that makes me angry. Listen, a lot of Texans died during that winter storm. Every Texan I talk to can tell you exactly where they were during that freeze. And they can also tell you exactly where Ted Cruz was.
Which may explain why when today, as his desperation was on full display in this panicked meltdown he had on live TV, he wasn't specifically asking Texans to vote for him in an incredibly close race that he's currently losing, but instead, Fled did the next most desperate thing. Beg Newsmax viewers for campaign contributions.
So I need your help. Please go to tedcruz.org.
You won your seat for the first time back in 2012. You won it by 17 points. So things are getting tighter in Texas. What's going on down there?
Look, there's no doubt Texas is a battleground today.
That's right, folks. Texas is a battleground today, which may sound bad, but it's actually a significant improvement from the frozen, powerless shithole it was when Ted fled to Cancun.
Chuck Schumer has been explicit. I'm his #1 target in the country.
Oh, buddy. Unlike the raccoon you've attached to your chin, that's cute. But frankly, I think Schumer has bigger fish to fry, little guy. Don't get me wrong, you're a disease on the American political system as well and shouldn't be ignored.
Left is so bad. They're so unhappy. They're so pissed off. And by the way, if you were a liberal woman and you had to sleep with those weenies, you'd be pissed too.
But where you're more of a hemorrhoid because you're just such a pain in the ass, you're small fries compared to Ronald McDonald, who's much more of a massive tumor on America's brain.
And you know what I'm going to let Eagle undo unless you people disagree. Like Tesla and others, they're fantastic.
But go ahead, Ted. Beg away to the 5 Newsmax viewers for the change they have left over after they bought their 5th Trump coin.
We are announcing the launch of Trump coins, a true symbol of American greatness.
And the Democrats are spending over $100 million. Chuck Schumer and George Soros are flooding cash into the state of Texas. There have been multiple polls in the last 3 weeks that show it as a 4-point race, a 3-point race, a 2-point race, and there have been 2 polls that show it as a 1-point race. They are coming after me with everything they got. My opponent, who is an extreme left-wing Democrat, is a congressman named Colin Allred, and yet he's been on TV for 3 months straight with relentless attack ads. I just went on TV a couple of weeks ago. And so I want to encourage your viewers this morning. I need your help. Please go to tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org, and contribute, because we are getting swamped by Chuck Schumer and George Soros. And as I said, they have put a bullseye on the state of Texas. They know if they flip Texas, if they take me out, they take the entire country. They keep the Senate Democrat. So I need your help. Please go to tedcruz.org.
Wow. Setting aside the fact that he said putting Texas in a bullseye and trying to take him out, as Republicans have the audacity to put the blame of their hateful, vitriolic rhetoric on the left, and literally get mad at Joe Biden for saying he had to put Trump in the bullseye. I haven't seen that level of pathetic desperation since he rolled over after Trump attacked his wife.
Donald Trump and Senator Ted Cruz now in the middle of a wife war. It started when an anti-Trump super PAC released this digital ad showing a nude photo of Trump's wife. We had to blur it. The text on the image reading, "Meet Melania Trump, your next first lady, or you could support Ted Cruz on Tuesday."
It was framed in such a way like it was really a terrible thing, and it was sent to a certain group, and I thought it was disgraceful, and Ted Cruz knew about it.
Trump posting on Twitter, "Be careful, lying Ted, or I will spill the beans on your wife." And Cruz taking some heat for his choice of words. Some critics saying Cruz stole a scene right out of the film The American President, starring Michael Douglas.
And if Donald wants to get in a character fight, he's better off sticking with me, because Heidi is way out of his league.
You want a character to debate, Bob? You better stick with me, because Sidney Ellen Wade is way out of your league.
Sounds very similar, and you can hear the reaction from the studio here. Cruz is a movie buff, but it's unclear if that was his inspiration. The fight not going away. It's really getting ugly. Overnight, Trump retweeting this image. The text reads, "No need to spill the beans. The images are worth 1,000 words." Cruz replying, "Donald, real men don't attack women. Your wife is lovely, and Heidi is the love of my life."
And you had to sleep with those weenies? You'd be pissed too.
First of all, Ted, I don't even think your own wife wants to sleep with you or that face hugger you're growing. But as we mentioned earlier, Texans are rightfully and thankfully tired of Cancun Cruz's stupid face and even stupider policy stances.
There are 19 sets of parents who are never going to get to kiss their child goodnight.
Is this the moment to reform gun laws?
You know, it's easy to go to politics. I get that that's where the media likes to go.
No, it's not. It's where many of the people we've talked to here like to go.
The proposals the Democrats have, none of them would have stopped this.
But why does this only happen in your country? I really think that's what many people around the world just, they cannot fathom. Why only in America? Why is this American exceptionalism so awful?
You know, I'm sorry you think American exceptionalism is awful.
I think this aspect of it.
You got your political agenda.
No, it's honestly,
God love you.
Senator, it's not. I just want to understand.
And while other Democratic superstars like Jasmine Crockett have been helping to push the state into a more progressive place, she is not alone.
Can Texas turn blue? They've got a superstar candidate running for Senate and Democratic Congress member Colin Allred there. You've got some good polling out of there. The latest Morning Consult had Congress member Allred up 45% to 44% against Ted Cruz. It looks like Democrats are also putting a lot of resources into Texas as well. You had the second gentleman there. You have Willie Nelson leading efforts there. But I want to call in a very serious person who knows Texas well, Democratic Congress member Colin Allred, who's running for Senate. Texas, can it turn blue? Is that just a wish? What are you actually seeing on the ground?
Well, listen, we're ready to move on from Ted Cruz. And that's the thing that I want folks out there to know. You know, I'm a fourth generation Texan. I was born and raised in Dallas by a single mom who was a public school teacher. I played football at Baylor, was captain of the team, and made it to the NFL and became a civil rights lawyer, and have been serving in Congress for the last 6 years. So I think I have an expert opinion on who we are as Texans. And I know this. We believe in freedom. And what Ted Cruz has done in terms of taking away a woman's right to choose, in terms of attacking your right to retire with dignity, in terms of making it harder for folks to chase their version of the American dream, is not our Texas.
A Democrat hasn't won statewide in Texas since 1994, I think. I guess the difference between Beto O'Rourke and Colin Allred, Allred's beaten a big-name Republican before. He beat Pete Sessions, I think, back in 2018, knocked Sessions out of Congress after 22 years. Beto lost the governor's race. He's not president. He lost to you. Does that change anything for you, running against someone who's actually beat a prominent Republican before?
Well, look, Colin Allred is running the exact same campaign Kamala Harris is. They're both hiding in Joe Biden's basement. Neither one of them does events. They don't do media interviews. They do almost no press conferences. In the last 8 weeks, Colin Allred has done one press conference. In the same time period, I've done 20 press conferences.
Yeah, maybe that's because Kamala Harris and Colin Allred do press conferences when they have something to say, instead of pushing their podcast or talking about sleeping with liberal weenies.
If you were a liberal woman and you had to sleep with those weenies, you'd be pissed too.
Ted, no one gives a about how many press conferences you do when you're not doing your goddamn job, which you've shown is a pattern you can't quite shake.
And that you think that's a good time to go on vacation. The only reason he came back, and the only reason anyone knows about this, was because some folks put it online when they saw him in the airport, because they couldn't believe that their senator was going off to Cancun during a crisis like this. And he's come back. That's not the only joke I've heard him make about it. He's joked about it quite a bit. But it's not funny to Texans. And that's also why on November 5th, when we beat him, he can just go ahead and have as much time as he wants in Cancun and do all the other things he wants to do instead of being a senator, which is what the actual job is.
So when you lose this election in November, the only things you'll have to blame are yourself and that disgusting throw rug under your chin. Thanks for watching, folks. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I'll see you all in the next one.